NoCoders Office Hours episode 290. I'm your host, Cameron. I'm here with Adam and Suchitra today. Before we get started, if this is your first time tuning in, we do this office hours 6 times per week where we invite our members onto Zoom and they can ask us bubble questions, give us bugs, feature requests, so on and so forth. And we promise at the very least, you won't suffer alone. We can't always promise answers, but you will not suffer alone. And we do get it right most of the time. We will hop right into it. Adam, you were here first. Do you have a question for us to take care of?
I definitely do. And it is the Upload Care API integration, because I'm no longer trusting any plugin I find on the internet.
Well, that's fair. Okay. So we'll start with Upload Care.
Yeah. So basically, it's got some pretty amazing, like there's an integrate section. I'm not sure if you have Upload Care, but if you do, there's an integrate section where you could customize a bunch of stuff. But when we get to the bottom, I kind of get a little bit lost on what I'm supposed to do from there, because the two things I need to do are essentially get a link to a file that exists in Upload Care and be able to populate it properly in the right section that I assign within my Bubble app. So that's one thing. It's just I'm getting a link and assigning it to a thing in the database,
okay,
and then deleting that link when the thing is deleted in the database. So those are the two things I need of the Upload Care app or API.
They basically just need a link.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. And so what we are looking at here, I'm looking at the REST API for what they have us. We can get a list of files, copy file, store file, delete file. File info is probably where we'd want to start. Now, so on your end, you've set up, have you set up anything?
No, because I'm
okay.
still not like the best at API connections.
Okay, cool. Not a problem. Let's see. So
I'd probably want to do, just to make it more general, like, are you comfortable doing a list of files? Just because even if the list is one, at least like there's a potential for more. Like, do you tell me what's more complicated? I'm gonna need more than one file at certain points.
So yeah, we'll end up getting a result back in a nested format. So we should be able to do that. That's not a problem. Cool. So we do need to get started with an OAuth key. So a couple different things. It looks like starting off with authentication. Every request rather made to these guys at Upload Care need to be made with the api.uploadcare.com. They should be signed. And it looks like we can use authorization, auth scheme, and auth parameter, which is basically just, hopefully, our API key. It does look like they give us an example here as well. Let's see, with the Upload Care simple authentication method. Well, that's not exactly what we're trying to do.
If you have, what is it? An Upload Care account, what you can do is there's an integrate portion.
Okay. Let's go look at that together. I don't have an account. I don't believe.
Okay, so if I share my screen, it will share the API key. So
no, no worries. Let's see if I'm logged in. Do I have an account? I do have an. Oh, that's right. We uploaded 5 cheese balls. Okay, cool. And we would, I imagine, go to API keys, right? Where are you seeing?
It's actually integrate. So it's literally, yeah. So it's actually seems like a really simple process. You can customize the heck out of it, which I love. Okay. So really, if this is really as simple as it's claiming to be, I would love to launch this little pop-up whenever I click a thing on in my app. So obviously, I guess that's another API call to make this pop-up appear within my app, and then upload things, get a link back. That's really the most important thing, and then delete files. But let's worry about deleting files once we get things in there.
Yeah, surely. What I'm seeing here, this is going to be a JavaScript button. So we're going to put some JavaScript code in and click OK, and it's going to open up basically what we'd seen up here. It's going to open up this. Now, what we need to do, though, is actually get a response. Now, so this integrate function's good if we're not really trying, I don't believe, to get a response back. It's not going to give us a response. This is just going to allow us to upload that information. There might be a way to get it back using the JavaScript that Bubble has. I'm going to be honest. I don't know about being able to take that response that we're looking for. So let me just see what the code looks like here. Where you can customize, adjusting the look. Because what I'm thinking is that we may be needing to really just rely on the REST API itself.
Okay.
I'm not 100% positive on this, but let's see. Alexandria just joined us. Cool. So what we need to do is really we need to be able to decide if we can take information from the integrate that we had seen here. And then also we need to be able to determine if we can actually sort of do what that integrate function is doing with that JavaScript through this. Now, this is typically for, sending data and getting data.
Right.
Where JavaScript, this is going to be for the front end, so it actually displays that data. So we have the upload name file. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anywhere here on this JavaScript that tells us how to take or retrieve that data. So it says how to configure it and how to get it started. Let's scroll down a little bit. Enable batch uploading, cool. Styling it if we need to. It's given us everything except what we want. All the crops.
Oh, wait. So basically, if I wanted to have particular crops involved, I would have to make sure that the JavaScript is written for those crops to be processed.
Go look back then. I think this is just configuring the crop. So I imagine if you don't include anything, you'll always have the option to crop. But if you do want it cropped at a particular ratio, you would need to put this here.
Okay. Well, if that's the only line, then that's not a big deal.
Yeah, pretty simple. Now it does say, let's see. So we can get a CDN URL of an uploaded file or of uploaded files in the event that, of course, we have multiple. So this does look like what we're looking for. I'm going to be honest. You and I are about to experiment together with no certainty that this will work, but we're here to have fun. So let's do this. So we're going to add two HTML elements. One's going to be that input, and then one's going to be the retrieval of the actual items, right? We also know that we need to add this script to our head. So we are going to go into our settings, SEO meta tags, and add this into our head. And we're going to add this to the page. It's over here. It's just going to create a button. I believe data public key is probably going to be my API key if I had to guess. So let me go ahead and get this. And it looks like they already included mine. Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to put this here. So hopefully what ends up happening is that this script is going to be listening to all of the events that happen when we upload a list of files.
Okay.
This is HTML. We need to enclose this in a script tag. Okay, and then what's going to end up happening is this is going to display in our console if it works the way that we want it to. Now, I do know that if we are saying that it's going to display in our console with the JavaScript, bubble to JavaScript feature, we should be able to include where we actually want it to go, which would be, of course, within Bubble itself. That's something that we'll probably need to focus on later, just seeing if this even works.
Okay.
But at the very least, no, I don't want to upload any of my taxes. That's enticing, but okay. So I'd imagine we'd actually want as well a submit button. Let's see, we'll go back here. We'll go to integrate. The page. So we have the CDN installed. We have what we're looking for there. I'm going to be completely honest. I would need to talk with Eli about how to handle the JavaScript side of the house. because it doesn't look like that this is going to give us a submit button. And let's say this is uploaded, because we can probably check here where we go to files. And now we have this guy that we added just now at 8:42. So it did upload, but we have nothing in our console about where that's coming. In fact, we have a lot of errors, but we have nothing in our console that should have been outputted from this guy.
Okay, so I guess maybe plugins aren't such a bad route, and I will have to maybe try to figure out.
Yeah, this is a tiny bit more complex than just a regular REST API when dealing with JavaScript. It can be done. I mean, Bubble does support JavaScript. So I know that for a fact. And the last thing that I'll do here, because maybe this HTML element is not exactly what we want, but we'll go ahead and say under this, we'll click this button. Say, click me. And when we do this, we are going to run this JavaScript. We don't need the script tags. And we'll see if anything pops up in the console. So we'll choose a file. Yet again, it doesn't look like anything is actually happening, unfortunately, at the moment. So we know that it can upload. We know that, pardon me, we know that there is code to go ahead and retrieve that file. It's just about getting that file implemented in the way that we want to. So we're going to revisit this, but we're halfway there at the very least. And then from that point on, it really is just connecting the REST API, setting up the delete call or whatever we are looking for, and it would work then. So,
okay, and like with the pop up and everything, the widget.
That's a good question. I couldn't tell you. Intuition tells me no, but because we're dealing with the REST API and that's just going to be sending data on the back end. So typically, no, nothing would pop up here. It's going to be purely on the front end when we're dealing with the integrate, when we're dealing with the JavaScript.
Okay. All right. When can we revisit?
Let me talk to Eli, and I'm back here tomorrow. So I'll see if he has any information for me, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okie dokie. Suchitra, you were next in line. Wanted to say hi to Alexandria and Ritesh. Welcome.
Hello.
All right. So what am I helping you with today, guys?
Yep. Suchitra?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. I have a few questions.
All right.
Okay, so here in the repeating group, I'm displaying some set of records. I want to able to select from the current page. Like, let's say in the first page, I'm selecting all the records. And if I go to second page, I want to select the current page records along with the previous page records.
Oh, this was something you asked last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was Tanya able to, I imagine, to not respond to you guys with the solution? So Suchitra, I know that last time we were looking at the count of the items in the repeating group. Have you changed that logic since, or are we still looking at the count of the repeating group?
No, I didn't get.
Actually, I think I'll have to check Slack if Tonya has replied me. I haven't been able to check it.
I see. Okay.
Let me check.
Okay.
Quickly.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Sujita, you can probably ask the next question. No.
I don't have.
Maybe Tonya. No, she has not replied.
She hasn't responded. Okay, so my next question is, when we select this select all, are we looking to do it really only for the first page? And then,
no.
Or do we want to select all of them in the entire repeating group, or do we want it to where we select that and then go to the next page, we click it again, so on and so forth? What's the vision?
Yeah, so basically we want to be able to select. So for example, let's say on the first page we select it. Okay, so everything gets selected.
Yep.
And when we go to the next page, if we click on it again, then everything in the second page should be selected.
Okay. So I know that we were using custom states. We're basically putting them in a list on a custom state page, and we'd be sort of modifying and manipulating that list. What I would consider doing, and this is just sort of thinking out loud, but when we select the top select all button, and then we do select all on the first page, we add that to the list. What I would be doing is I'd be looking at a conditional on which page we're on, in which case. So we're able to change the pages. I would probably set a custom state on the page for the amount clicked. And I'm thinking that when we do that, what we're able to do is we're able to reference then. Well, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can. We're going to create a repeating group on my end here. I know that Tani was having fun with this, so hopefully we have some fun too. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're going to create just some dummy data. Each is going to have a text field. And we are just going to increment by, we're going to create, this might take just a second. We're going to create a total of 10 entries with each page displaying 5. Okay, so what we're doing here is we have this button down below and this button down below. And these are just going to be the pagination here for our repeating group. There we go. So if we test this out, we should be able to go back and forth between our pages. It does need to be a fixed number of cells. This does work at the very least. Okay. Now what we were doing is we were using a checkbox. Is that correct? Or was it a radio button? Suchitha, was it a checkbox or a radio button?
I was using icon.
Oh, you were using an icon. Okay. Well. So don't know exactly what icon you were using, but if we have this here, we'll just switch them to this. And so the way that this was set up, and I'm wondering on your end, is that when you click this, you set the state of the repeating, or yeah, what did you set the state on? The repeating group?
Sujitra?
Page level, we have created a custom state.
It was page level where you created, okay. And she basically said, if this, and in this case, it's going to be slightly different. I'm not putting it on page level, putting it on this repeating group, where when we click this icon, it changes the state of the repeating group to clicked. Or when repeating group, what do we call this? Repeating group dummy. Realized we actually want, that's already on. We want this to be off. Okay. And so we want it to be for just the first page though, right? And then when we click it again, we want it to be for the second page, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm probably going to do, like I had said, something about the count. And we are going to say that when we click on this, we're setting the state of the repeating group dummies count. We're going to say count plus 1. Okay, so trying to think about how we'd approach it now. So we want to reference the count because the count represents the page number in this case, where we have this page 1 and default should actually be page 1. And then this, we click it again, should be page 2. So. Okay. We're going to set the state of clicked equals yes. And we know that if it's yes, it's going to be on this. So let's say not clicked, but count is 1. We would want to set well, shoot, okay, because I want to be able to differentiate between whether these are 1 or whether these are 2, right? And so what we're saying is that if they're 1, well, we haven't said anything yet, obviously, but what I'm envisioning is that if it's the count is 1, we're on page 1, we select this, then it selects all of them that have the state 1. Now, what we'd then do is we'd increment this by 2, and that would get rid of 1, unfortunately, wouldn't that? Do we have a fixed number of pages, or is this dynamic? I imagine it's dynamic, where sometimes we'll have 3 pages and sometimes we'll have 20.
Yeah. It's dynamic.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's see. We're close, so it takes the first page. Then we want this, so when we click it again, we want is we'll just reference the counts, I guess. I'm sort of guessing here, but if we click this, we have that now. And it looks like it automatically adds them because they're the same count. So it's not exactly what we're looking for. So I wonder if we could add another custom state. And this now it's probably getting probably not going to be where we want it to, but we'll set reset at, I feel like we'll set it at 0. So we'll say so if it's 0, if the count is 0 and it's the page, we'll go ahead and click and it'll select all of these. So what happens then now when we click this is that we need to increase the reset by 1. But then we need to be able to change this reset and set it back to 0 when we actually click it. Very doubtful this will work, but I'm just sort of thinking using a series of custom states and logic there. So now, oh, it seems to reset, and that's because, of course, we click the arrows. Okay, we're really close, I feel like. So we've selected it. The count is 0. In fact, what I'm going to do, we'll do a step-by-step where we click this, and what we're saying is we're going to be setting some custom states where the custom state of the reset value is 0, and it resets when it's 1, right? And then we're saying that the, let's see, custom state reset, custom state clicked, and we're saying that it is clicked. What happens when it's clicked and the value let's see. When it's clicked, yes. And the count is when the page number is the page number, basically. And the reset is 0. So we set this to 0 and we're like, yep, that's exactly what it is. What we do when we click this is now we set that count, the reset count to 1. So we're not selecting anything when we go to the next page, but we are going to be saying when we click this, again, it's going to be resetting us back to 0. So now we have 2 of these items in this repeating group that have been selected. So now what we're going to do is we're going to explore the idea of having this repeating group, or all of the basically all the list items. We want them in here. And we were saying that we were basically going to be adding I think that's what we're going to want to be doing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but when we click this, we are now adding or setting the state of the page. Oh, it's repeating group. Is that what we called it? That is what we called it. And to test this, we'll add this text down here, and we will say that this is repeating groups list items, each item's text. So we'll see if it actually counts 1 through 5 or 1 through 10 here. Takes all of them. Okay, so that's not exactly what we want to do. We want to take is on the first pages. No, that's not what we want to do. And I guess we could say items and no. So Chitra, how do you have this set up where we're passing these values to the custom state? We're taking all of the repeating groups list of dummies, right? Or list of items, right?
Yeah, list of items.
And are you doing items until?
We use instance calculator. So we have calculated the page number. Yeah.
I see, slightly different then. Okay, so we will say that's not the way we have it work. Each item's text where I suppose we can change that to a text, see if that actually adjusts anything. We're taking the list items, each item's. Okay, that probably won't do what we want it to do. Items until I don't want to do this because it's not going to work on the second instance if we add them. Items until number 6, I guess until number 5. That's not super important. Okay. It does not do what we want it to do. And all I want to do is be able to basically store them in the list. Because if we're able to store them in the list, I feel like then we're able to sort of remedy the way that we could go about this. We're close. We're like 75% there. That just tells us the page's number. List of dummies. So this would be the list of dummies, but we want it on the first page. Why isn't there any pagination? Super not cool. Okay. Well, let's say when we click this though, we're going to set the state of this. The list of items are going to be, do we have it here? It's not. No. So you guys are using a plugin that calculates this? A little different then. Okay. Doing this vanilla bubble. It's a little different. So in terms of setting these states, click this, got that good, right? We click it again. The issue is oh, I see why. Okay, I don't think we're actually decreasing the reset. I think this is going to throw some things for a loop. Yeah, you really found yourself in a pickle, haven't you? Definitely a very interesting situation. I think that the real approach is going to be definitely with custom states and making sure that custom states are referencing each other, where you have one custom state that says, you know, if this is valid, then these will be highlighted, which is independent on the way that the next set of items in your repeating group are going to be looking at. So say you probably need a total of 3 custom states to keep that going. Let me follow up with Tanya on this. I know her and I were just talking the other day, and she had said that she was pretty close to getting it done. So my apologies for not being able to give you a solid solution, but at least in terms of how I'd approach it, it would be with a series of custom states that are sort of looking at each other. I would say you probably really only need about 3, where they're sort of just playing off each other. You're going to be using these 3 states as conditional logic, saying if this state is this, and so on and so forth. Like I said, let me talk to Tanya about that. I feel like we're making good progress and we're really close to being able to actually achieve that. I know the problem's probably been eating away at you for quite some time and you really wanted to get it done. So I'll reach out to her and we'll actually provide you an answer, hopefully as soon as possible.
Sure.
Super sorry about that. Thanks for, watching me. Thanks for seeing where the brain's going. But yeah. Okay, awesome. We'll circle back around to you guys. I know Alexandria has been waiting pretty patiently. We'll help her out with what she has.
Sure.
Are you there, Alexandria? I am not thinking she is here at the moment.
Who?
Is it for me?
Oh, she's here. Yes, it is for you. How are we helping you out tonight? Or this morning, I guess, for you.
Good morning. Sorry, I was in another call in between. Okay, so I have a couple of things. Let me pull it up. My biggest thing, I want to just clean up some things on the site. I will share my screen.
Yep, no worries.
So I have for now, can you see that?
Yeah.
So when I preview, for example, it's just, and that's been an issue that I've had in the past that I don't know how to like connect it. So it saves, but so I tried to fix it this morning. You see how it kind of fills in. So there's no visual confirmation that this has been saved. And same with when you go to favorited, it will connect it in the back end, but once you favorite, it doesn't change. So I want like a visual response in the UX for them to know that they've actually saved that venue into the thing.
Yeah, definitely. The first thing that I'm thinking about here is you probably need 2 data types on the user. Those data types would be favorite hotels and then saved hotels.
So we have, well, so that's the other thing. I'm going to change the verbiage, but favorited and saved are the same thing. They're basically saving them to their favorites or favoriting them. So we have favorited hotels and it makes a list where it tracks the link of the hotel. And then basically what should happen is when they go to their dashboard, their favorited hotel, right now there's no favorited, their favorited hotels will appear here. So there's a whole
Gotcha. Okay. So we're sort of going to be looking at just like one list then, really, is sort of what it comes down to. Okay, cool. So the workflow for when we click the save, what we need it to do is we need it to add itself to that record. So we need to add that item to the list. What's that workflow currently look like?
So let me look at, because I think it only saves on, so it adds to the.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's doing what we need it to. Neat. Now we need to tell Bubble visually sort of what we want it to do. And so we're going to be looking at the conditional of if this hotel exists inside this current user's membership profile, then this icon will change. So what we're going to want to do is click on that icon. Yep. Sweet. And so we're looking for a membership. Well, what's the record? What's the object called? A membership?
Membership.
So we want to do a search for actually. Membership profile. Yep. And one of the constraints is going to be where the user equals this current user. And now inside this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the first item. And we're going to be looking at the list of hotels, or the list of favorites. I'm sorry. So favorited hotels. And we should be able to do contains this sells hotel. Yep. Current sells hotel. And when that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to change the icon probably to the full version. Yep. And now it should be good. So let's test that out and see what happens.
No. So I think it's right
now logged in though.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I've been bopping around on your app and I've been trying to get things to work and I haven't been logged in. I was like, why is it not working? But hopefully it's just that.
I think it's the button isn't actually, let's see. Oh, I think it just needs to make changes to user.
So next time you do that, click on that step-by-step button in the bottom. And then let's click the save button to see what happens. Cool. And let's run next. And so what we're saying is the current user's membership profile. That's what we're changing at the very moment. If you click on that blue text, current user's membership profile. So then it's going to go to the evaluator. Yep. And so it looks like we are logged in under the email cameron.waller@booth@gmail.com. And I don't believe I have a membership profile.
Oh, that's why. Okay, so that makes sense. So I can just go in and change that. So that should work. Okay. And then for hotel search, I think I can do that. Nope. This one. I want to just, I can change that. The conditional is when it actually, okay, I can figure out the other one. Then the other thing. I think that's it. And then if there's still time, I just wanted to look at the Airtable thing, but I don't know.
Let me see. Because yeah, that's super important, isn't that?
I think, was it Dan that needed to help with that?
Yeah, we'll see if Ben can hop on momentarily. We'll have a response in just a couple moments.
But I'm happy to have someone else work on theirs while he responds, and then I can fix the rest of the stuff that I.
Cool. And then also, so you're aware, when we're on that the saved page, that conditional that we wrote, if you copy that, copy the expression, you should just be able to paste it on the other thing without having to rewrite anything. Makes it pretty easy. Adam, we'll circle back to you. Do you have anything that you'd like to ask?
I do. So I had a regex question that basically is, how do I get the source of a domain, right? So I try to do the extract email thing because I think a coach at one point in my bubble time told me to do that, but it just was not working. And like basically the concept is like you're getting a article from rollingstone.com, right? And you want to cut out www, everything before that, and you want to cut out everything after .com. Now the complicated part comes in that it's not just rollingstone.com, and there are like so many different domain titles that, you know, or endings that could be there. So I'm thinking there has to be some sort of regex that is like, take everything that is like the dot and at the first dot and then the www and everything before it, and then keep the second dot and then the thing after it, but then the first forward slash, cut off the forward slash and everything after it. Does that make sense?
So we're just trying to, I'm sorry, are we just trying to get www. Let's say google.com, or are we just trying to get google.com?
Google.com.
So we don't want the first www.
No.
Okay, yes, there more than likely is a regex expression to get that. Trying to think of how we would do that. Well, you do me a favor. So what regex expressions have you used? Have you tried any?
I got one here. Let me grab a test page. 1 sec.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, so I tried one earlier today. It was with Tanya, but she basically said I need to ask you. But here is 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen just momentarily. I just want to make sure I'm like hiding my things properly.
Yep, no worries.
Okay. All right. Screen share, continue. There we go. So this is what I have. And this was found from a like forum website.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't mean like Bubble in particular. I mean just like coding.
Yeah, sure. And that looks like it does a forward lookup. Bubble has a problem with forward lookups, and we know it's a forward lookup because it has the question mark and let's see, it has the question mark colon, and that's, I believe, the forward lookup.
Okay.
And Bubble, oh God, I love Bubble, but sometimes it doesn't do exactly what we want it to.
Right.
Okay, so I use the website. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a tricky one. I use the website Regexer, regexr.com.
Yeah.
And I can put that in chat for you.
I'm familiar with it too. I also just put the regex code that I've been using in chat. I think Regexer is great, but it like I kind of wish that you could just highlight what you need and it told you what you need to do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that would be super cool, wouldn't that? Yes.
It would be a big time saver. And I think that they're able to do it. And it's honestly a little frustrating that they just haven't done
it. Honestly, it would be very cool. So I'm thinking of approaching this from a couple different ways. So we could probably find a regex pattern that actually takes everything up until the first slash. That's probably really not that difficult. And I'm thinking that using that pattern, like what you do is you would use a find and replace initially to remove HTTPS, www, like those instances and those occurrences. Yeah. So you can isolate that string to where it's just google.com/blah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then use a pattern to basically take everything before that first slash. So let's see if we can find some regex here.
Cool.
Everything before first character. I love the internet. It's one of the best inventions ever. Let's see. And we probably want it before the first dot, if I had to guess, right? Or we'd want, well, actually, we probably would want it to be the first dot, but we could also probably isolate.
Yeah,
that
I don't
too.
want to. I don't want like .google.com. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we sort of just want the first up until the first character.
Yeah. So like ideally, what I'd be getting from my example is rollingstone.com, and that's it.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I'm trying to think. We would use, is there a character expression where we could just not seeing anything that's for character specifically, except the inverse of what we're trying to do. That's not. Can you not see my screen? I think that's probably pretty important.
Yeah, we
No.
can't see the screen.
Well, that changes things. I'm just using the internet, seeing what some individuals have potentially created for us. We're looking, so you're aware, Bubble typically uses JavaScript, regex. And it looks like this website's being exceptionally slow, where they have asked for Ruby, a particular language. So we want everything after, right? Everything after the first character. Well, no, actually, we want everything because we want to get rid of this dot and everything. So we don't want the dot there. Man, I love seeing smarter people come up with solutions to things. Okay, so everything before and up to a particular character. What we're doing is we're matches any character except line breaks. They're escaping this dot, and then, so there we go. What this will do is it'll eliminate, I believe, everything here that we don't want. So then we're left with just this. So now we're looking again for everything up until this character, right? So if we then say, oops, well, actually, I'll just go ahead and duplicate this. I'll take this. So in this example, we have gotten rid of that. And now it's asking us. So we realistically don't want to we don't want to put in a character. Well, no, we could, well, is it just Rolling Stone or is it for all websites?
No, it's all websites. So that was just my example. So like really it has to be everything from the first dot to the first slash.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. We don't want it to necessarily be the slash.
Yeah.
Can we? Okay, so now what the question is, we need everything up until this character. I think we had just seen that with what we had used up here. So this is looking for a semicolon. We will say instead that didn't work. We don't want that. That's because they're, what? No. There we go. Okay. Woo! We've done it. Just making sure that nothing else is gonna throw this for a loop. Cool. Okay.
Cool.
We're gonna use some find and replaces to achieve this. I'll put the first code in here in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
So this is going to isolate the first bit of a web address, the HTTPS and the www, where it leaves us just the google.com / that giant string of text that typically follows afterwards.
Great.
Then the second guy is going to get us exactly what we want. So the first pattern you're going to use in a find and replace function. And then the second, you're just going to say find with regex, and you'll be able to save then its result, the first item of this then returned quote unquote list, because that's what regex sort of does. It splits things into lists.
Cool. Do you mind sending me the second part of the code? Thank you.
Yep. Sorry, I forgot to press enter.
All good. All good. So I'm gonna just share my screen again, and we can mess around with this.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. So let's just say input is value, and then find and replace. And then I use the regex pattern, right? So
Yep.
I am going to take this, replace by nothing, yeah?
That's right. Yep. We're replacing it with nothing.
Okay, and then regex, extract.
Yep. That's right.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna preview this. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna grab a Rolling Stone article. Rolling Stone. Here we go. Okay. Oh my God, it worked. It
Amazing.
worked. That's so cool. Here, I'll show you. I'm so excited. I'm very cheesy, but it worked.
I
There
love
it is.
that.
And it's
Awesome.
It's about Fleetwood Mac. So, all right, that's wonderful, beautiful, perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Glad to have assisted. Yeah, absolutely. Sweeto mosquito is my new catchphrase. I hate myself for saying it. You don't have to remind me, but I love it. I've been saying that too much these days. Cool. Alexandria, do you have anything else that we can help you with? I don't think Ben is going to hop on. It seems like he's away from the computer at the moment.
Yes, this is a dumb question, but
Gotcha.
no dumb questions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I have, so it does work. I was able to fix it. I had to just go in and create a user, and I'll actually go in and correct and give you like a proper membership, Cameron, so that you can like actually test it. So my other question is, so here they fill it out and it does like the searching, but there was a point that was made of, you know, since these are integers and numbers, it would be nice for, I don't want to have to add in something like this, but when it, like when the number is in there, for it to say rooms 50 and like price. And so I tried to put like when this input is valid, meaning that it's a number, the placeholder should be visible, but that didn't work.
Yeah, so placeholder is only visible if there's nothing in there. So it's a little tricky for the computer to pull that off. However, though, go ahead and Control Z that, bring that back, because that's a good starting point. That's definitely not a bad issue.
I lost it, but I can put that again when this.
Cool. Cool. So when it's valid, what we can say is that the initial content. Now we can say, yep. And then we'll add dynamic value.
Where is, oh.
No, so actually we can delete that there. So click right before hotel rooms and backspace that so we can get rid of that dynamic value. Cool. And then let's go after hotel rooms.
Okay.
So now on the initial content value.
Okay.
And we are going to just press the arrow key. Yep. And then press space, insert dynamic value. And we're going to see if we do this inputs value, if it works. Now it's going to be, honestly, this is circular logic, and it probably is going to let us know that. However, if it doesn't and it works, perfect. We love that.
No.
Okay. Let's say when this value, this input is not empty. Does it not have that? Unfortunately, it just has the valid. Okay. So another thing that we could do is, so we can save the value we're entering as a custom state. So what we can say is when the value of hotel rooms changes, so this is going to be on your backend workflow. Let's go ahead and try this out together. Let's go to the, oh, not the back, I'm sorry, just your workflow.
Okay.
Yeah, and since it's an input value, we have to specify in the workflow, do something when a value changes.
So where do I go to workflows from
It's
here?
on the left, yeah, right there.
Okay.
Cool. So we're going to go to elements, and an input value is changed, and we are going to say input min because that was the name of this element.
So I put input min. Yep.
And we are going to set a state. So click here to add an action and set state.
Actions. Where is that state?
I would just type it in, set state.
Apparently.
There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually assign a state to the page. And this is the fixed hotel search. So type in fixed hotel and it should pop up. Oh, it's right at the very top. Perfect. And the custom state we're adding is going to be for room. So we'll just say room. Yeah, we got to do that. Yep.
Well, I do that. And it's gonna be a number, right?
Well, this is going to be specifically a text.
Okay.
So this may interfere with the way that this information is going to be loaded in your repeating group. I'm going to be completely honest. Might be a little difficult to actually achieve the way we want it to. However, the value is going to be input min's value.
No.
And we will just do formatted as. Cool. And now it's formatted as the text. We'll go back to our design. And we will say that when this input value is not, or when it's valid, so just like that, hotel room equals the custom state of the page. So fixed. No, you just have to type in fixed. No, undo it. It's easier to just undo it.
Even.
So in the top right, do you see that arrow that's going backwards?
Yes.
Yep. And so this inputs value, instead of saying that, we're going to click on that blue text and change it to fixed pages state, fixed pages room. Okay, cool. We will see what this does for us. Now, the issue is you were saying that it's integer. So now that we're adding text into this field, I'm not super certain. No, still doesn't want to do it.
I mean, I could just make it easy and put that in there. But I feel like some of them, for some reason, like when I sign up for things and I put, I guess because it's text, it like keeps it. So for example, when we sign up, like if I were to sign up, let's just say all of that, yeah. But I guess because it's a text. Like this kind of thing, but you cannot put it, yeah, that doesn't work. So that just has it where it keeps it, like it keeps that stationary. And so I guess it would just be kind of how I have that one set up, where then if I add this, then it presents that way.
Yeah, and then for your filter, though, you'd have to use some regex expressions to isolate the value that you're entering. So you're not passing in the full value because unfortunately, that filter, as far as I'm aware, is set up looking at those particular numbers in those particular, when the data source. So it's looking at all the hotels with the amount of hotel rooms, but it's not looking at because the way you're saving the amount of hotel rooms is a number. So if you're saying, I want to search for in this value, it says hotel rooms number, there are no records with hotel rooms number. you're only looking, well, you only want to be looking for numbers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then what you'll do is if you click on your repeating group, because it is doable, so you, and we'll go to appearance. And then you see where it says filtered. We will then go filtered, and then let's say total number of hotel rooms. So at the very top there, or not the very top, but where it says hotel, hotel men's value, you would click on value, then click on more. You would format it as, you would use, yep, that's good, you close that. And then you would type in regex, regex. So you'd extract with regex after the first space or after room. You could even type in room number, room space number. Actually, that's just going to find the room number. Actually, we need to find everything after room number, which is almost what we did with Adam. So we need to find regex of everything after a character. Let's see if I can find something for you real quick.
I mean, at the end of the day, I can just like make it simple and just put hotel rooms.
I mean, absolutely. Yes, you totally could. Staying in line with the artistic sort of vision you have, though. Let me see if I can. So you could, I'm going to paste this in the Zoom chat. If you were to add something like that, you would need to make sure that the text that you're adding is only hotel room, of course, in the custom state that we're referencing. Or whatever value before the
thing is, yeah, because it's a number, not the, so this one, the hotel rooms that we're working on that we set up the custom state with is a number without the dollar sign versus the other. So the dollar sign still goes in?
Yeah, the dollar sign basically is saying everything up until, I believe. So what we'd be able to do is, and we're getting closer, and then we'd select first item because it splits everything into a list. And then to make it even better, we're going to trim it. Oh, and we actually need to convert it to a number, but let's do trimmed first and then converted to number. So that's what you're probably going to have to do in the event you actually include the text inside that.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, I can always just overlay another text field inside, and then it's not visible until the numbers are filled in, and then it becomes visible.
Yeah, and there's also plugins to help you out with that as well.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think. I don't know of any plugins off the top of my head. I think Adam's really experienced and proficient with a bunch of different plugins that he could probably provide actually some experience and advice with. But at least that is sort of the way you would approach the situation. Looking at using a regex expression to isolate those numbers after whatever text expression you're passing in.
What kind of plugin are you looking for?
I want just to be able to have where it says hotel rooms, that when they go to search in the filter, that it says that text, it keeps the text hotel rooms and then whatever number they're looking for.
Right. And so as far as how are you getting the hotel room names? Is it user input or is it API?
User input.
Okay. That should be pretty easy. So there are a few that I like just as far as UI go. So one that I really, my entire app is based around is Select Eyes. Select Eyes dropdown. It's really good. And I would really recommend looking into it. It's a lot easier than repeating groups. It will save you so much time.
Okay.
What she's trying to do specifically?
Plugins, Or is that something that I have to plug in with an API in the back end?
No, it actually works with your database automatically. So like anything that is user input, like basically, so I use select eyes when my users are trying to send messages, when they're trying, so they can just find anyone that they're looking for. You can do searches with it. It's pretty fantastic. It's almost like a drop-down menu, and you can do multi-select. You can rearrange the order of things if you want, after you've selected, like, let's say 10 different texts. But Cameron, what were you saying?
She is looking mainly to make sure that the caption stays visible while she types. That's sort of like the main approach that she's trying to take, instead of having where there's the placeholder value that the dropdown has. And the only way that I could potentially think of in native vanilla bubble is that the actual value, the initial value, would be room number equals, and then you would type after that. But to ensure that that value couldn't be erased or anything of that sort, that's where I think that you'd want to probably go with the plugin.
Okay. Okay, I'll play around with that this afternoon.
All right. Well, thank you all for definitely joining in and watching everything unfold, especially for those at home watching on stream. We're about to move into after office hours, where we turn off the cameras and sort of focus more on personal projects where API keys might be present or things that you just don't want to share. You can join us on pronocoders.com, the developer membership is what I'm trying to say. Pronocoders.com, join us for after office hours. Until next time, everybody, you have a great one. Take care.